Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome into the Beaux-Arts Ford studio for the St. Johns County show that's on in the morning. And as you notice, Amanda is not here today. She is feeling a little under the weather, so we're sending love out to Amanda. Hopefully she feels better and can get back in here tomorrow. But we have the first part of our fire union debate with St. Johns County and the St. Johns County Fire Union. And in studio, we have District 1 Commissioner Christian Whitehurst. I appreciate you coming in and helping us out, kind of clear up what's going on, because out here in the public, we don't know exactly what's going on. So we wanted to hear both sides of the story. And we appreciate you giving us the first side, the county side, and appreciate you coming in. But I got to pay some bills first, if you don't mind, sir.
I don't mind one bit. Happy to stand aside.
All right. I got to tell people about the great people at Beaux-Arts Ford. Since 1949, Beaux-Arts Ford Lincoln has been more than just a dealership. It's been a St. Augustine tradition built on trust, family values, and doing things the right way. For over 75 years, generations of drivers have relied on Beaux-Arts for quality vehicles and honest service. With over 1,200 vehicles to choose from, no surprise pricing, and a drive happy, I always want to say that the other way, happy drive happy, guarantee. Beaux-Arts makes car buying truly effortless. That's the Beaux-Arts difference. Their award-winning state-of-the-art facility features 91 climate control bays, a quick lane for no appointment maintenance, and 40 mobile service vans that come right to you. And that is, again, the Beaux-Arts difference for you. They even have Ford's Garage restaurant, a beautiful restaurant out there, and they are recognized with the prestigious Triple Crown Award and President's Award. Beaux-Arts Ford Lincoln delivers hometown service with national level of excellence. You'll find friendly faces, great pricing, and a better buying experience just off I-95 and State Road 16. Beaux-Arts Ford Lincoln, driven to inspire. All right, we also have to give a great shout out to our other sponsors, Fidus Roofing, Old Town Trolley, Bin 39 Wine Bar, B&S Signs, Chris Lucero Bail Bonds, St. Augustine Handy House, and Sonny's Barbecue. Please get out there and support our wonderful sponsors. And if you would, hit those likes as you go along, or whichever way you want to go with that. And please share the show. We're also, if you're not already following us on Instagram, YouTube, and Rumble, please do so. And I think we can start now. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Appreciate you coming in. Blake, how you doing back there?
I am doing well back here in the booth.
All right. Question of the day. You're at the house. You're a little bit on the hungry side. Don't really want to make a full dinner. What is your go-to? Like, some people do ramen noodles. Some people do mac and cheese. Some people make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. What is your go-to to almost a mid-meal meal?
So if I've got some produce laying around, anything, bell peppers, carrots, whatever's laying around, I'll chop it up. I'll put it on a piece of bread, and I'll like melt some cheese over it. Like I'll toast it and melt some cheese, and put some seasoning on it, and I'll make like this veggie melt sandwich.
A veggie sandwich.
Yeah, isn't that strange?
Yeah. No. Everyone has a go-to.
But it's like it's all the crunchy stuff and all the melty stuff
until you put the cheese on it.
Well, it's all right. I don't want it to be good for me.
No,
if I start losing weight,
it's almost good for you. Yeah.
Right.
As you start losing weight, automatically it doesn't taste as good.
Exactly. I don't want to lose weight. I'm not going on a diet, but I feel like if you can use all the veg laying around and it tastes pretty good. Put some seasoning on it. It's a good go-to meal.
All right, Blake, what about you, buddy?
I'm going to say cereal.
Cereal?
Yeah.
Just pour it in a bowl and go?
Yep.
Solid.
Yeah. No, that's probably a very good answer. I mean, that is the simplest one. So, and I jump around quite a bit. It depends on what leftovers are in there. I will throw together whatever protein I got left over from the meal before, throw that in, a lot of cheese, probably onions, throw it in an egg, and almost make like an omelet type situation.
All right.
So, and the other go-to that it's very simple. It takes 12 minutes, by the way, is I make a tortilla pizza. So you take a tortilla, you put a little bit of cheese on it, put the other tortilla on top, pizza sauce, cheese, 12 minutes in the oven at 425. and you got a crunchy tortilla pizza.
My wife, I hope Courtney's watching. I think she is. She does that a lot.
Yeah.
She's the queen of the tortilla pizza, so I'm glad to hear she's
Yeah.
not the only one.
No, I good tortilla pizza is good for the whole family too, because like that way, you don't want to eat the whole thing. You got to give at least one of them away
Sure.
of the wedges,
That's right.
so you don't feel guilty about it.
No, right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, you're not out of control. You're
Yeah.
sharing.
Yeah. I didn't eat the whole thing. So even though it's this big, and it shouldn't be a factor. All right, it is now time for a quick check of the weather. It's all right. It's all right outside.
It is all right.
It's all right outside. All right, and that weather report is brought to us by Bin 39. Discover one of St. Augustine's hidden gems, Bin 39, located inside the St. George Inn at the north end of St. George Street, with over 95 boutique wines, including 50 rated 90 points or higher by Robert Parker. Bin 39 is perfect for a date night or unwinding after work. Enjoy wines by the glass or bottle in a peaceful courtyard setting with live music adding to the atmosphere. Open daily 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Just stop in and say, I'll have what Irving's having. Bin 39, your taste to discover. All right, and if you guys, it's actually a beautiful Bin 39 day if you get a chance to get down there, and they do have amazing wines. It is now time for the Hit the Blake's traffic report. Go, Blake, go.
Traffic's moving fine.
Wow, that's a great traffic report. Thank you for that, sir.
You're welcome. All right, and that traffic report is... Oh, wrong camera. I am so sorry.
That's all good. I just that was a good traffic report. Nailed it.
He's like, I don't have to do the read.
My apologies there. But that that Hit the Blake traffic report is brought to you by Old Town Trolley. Climb aboard Old Town Trolley, experience explore over 5 years of St. Augustine history in the most fun and flexible way possible. This fully narrated 9-minute tour features 22 convenient stops and more than 100 points of interest, including the Castillo de San Marcos, Fountain of Youth, and Paz Wax Museum. Enjoy open-air views, all-day hop-on, hop-off access, plus free parking at the Old Jail and Welcome Center with your ticket. And when the sun goes down, experience the city's spooky side with the Ghosts and Gravestones tour. Locals ride free with a 4-hour guest through hometownpass.com. Old Town Trolley, the best way to see St. Augustine, one stop at a time.
All right. So I have Christian Whitehurst, Commissioner, in to talk about what's going on with the St. Johns County Fire Department and the union negotiations, their contract. We're currently technically out of contract. They've been working since I believe late September is the date I saw. Tell me a little bit about the process of the negotiations. Like the Board of County Commissioners has final say. Mm-hmm. But tell me about the process of how these conversations are taking place. And I understand negotiations start again tomorrow, so that's why I wanted to have you guys in here today. How does that process actually work? Because I don't think people really realize the fire union is completely different than a lot of the rest of the county employees. So.
Yeah, so that's a big question. I'm not sure I have all the answers, other than our administration is in constant contact with the fire department, mm-hmm. meaning the fire chief and the fire administration, to determine what they need, and they're also in constant contact in a negotiation posture with the fire union. Mm-hmm. And the fire union, traditionally, they've done a great job looking out for their guys, and so they are constantly going back and forth to discuss what we have available, with our funding limitations, and what the fire department needs to be as efficient but as effective as possible. Mm-hmm. And I guess I kind of want to start by saying I'm disappointed that we're even here mm-hmm. having this discussion. I'm not here to fight against the firefighters. No, we love what those guys do.
I think everybody appreciates that, but I mean, there's restrictions from the side that you're on. Of what fits into the budget and how does that work to still keep them safe and us safe, because their safeties is equal to the citizen safety, but there's budget restrictions always. Well,
that's been one of the more disappointing things, and David Stevens is going to be on with you this evening, mm-hmm. and I've always gotten along great with David. Mm-hmm. I found him to be a great guy to work with. And so I'm not at war with David Stevens, but one of the more disappointing things that has come out of his mouth is that he's trying to convince St. Johns County residents, not the commission. We don't have any money.
Mhm.
It's always the taxpayers who have to foot the bill. He's trying to convince our residents, we should do here what they're doing in West Palm Beach or Palm Beach County. Palm Beach County has a lot more taxes than we do. They have the local option sales tax and gas tax. They have a much higher millage rate, and they get more from each mill than we get from our mill here in St. Johns County. You add to that Kissimmee. He said, well, the city of Kissimmee has enacted this 2472. What he didn't mention to me when he said that is that Kissimmee put a tax on the ballot, and the citizens of Kissimmee voted for that tax to fund the 2472 for their fire department. So again, it's not an apples to apples comparison. St. Johns County will never have the taxes that Miami or Fort Lauderdale or West Palm Beach has. And so we do have limited funds. We do have low taxes here. That's what we love about living in St. Johns County is the taxes are so low. So we're not going to be able to do what Palm Beach County and Kissimmee does.
All right. And you brought up the 2472, and I want to explain to our audience a little bit. Right now, this is the way I understand it. Correct me if I get this wrong, and if somebody's out there that knows better than me, feel free to correct me. But right now we're on a 24-48 schedule, which means the firefighters work 24 straight hours, and then they're off for 48 hours. The 24-72 brings it. One of the arguments I saw was the 24-48 makes every firefighter work 48 hours and then overtime on top of that. The 24-72 basically makes it an average of 42 hours. But the 24 would be 24 on, 72 off. It's kind of a new trend in the scheduling of what I've seen and what my little bit of research that I've been able to do. And it seems to be catching on in Texas, and Florida hasn't caught on in a lot of other parts of the country yet. It seems to some of the ones that are doing the 24-72 are focused mostly on the EMT side. Do you know if that's been discussed, that we start with the EMTs and then we figure out the budget on the backside? Do you know if that discussion's come into play?
No, I think all the discussions with 24-72, which is where this negotiation started, are off the table.
They're off the table now.
It's just not finding. I mean, you can squeeze the rock. Blood's never going to come out of that rock. So we cannot fund, with the tax base that we have now, a 24-hour on, 72-hour off. We're talking about hiring an additional 150 firefighters. We would need an entirely a D shift. We have an A, B, and C shift. We would have to have a whole new shift, and I've been told that would be 150 new employees. So even if we just focused on the EMTs, it would just not be financially feasible for the taxpayers of St. Johns County to foot that bill. What we have gotten to, and this is kind of where we're at with the impasse, at least this is my understanding, is that the county has said, okay, we will get to a 6-week Kelly Day. And just for those who've never heard of a Kelly Day, it means that for every 6 weeks that you work, you would get an additional day off. But in the interest of mental health, because this has been a big push by the fire union, it's not about the money, it's about our mental health. Well, in the interest of mental health, we said, okay, when you get that Kelly Day, which is a paid day off, in addition to the other days off, you must take the day off. We need you to rest and recuperate and come back healthy and ready to go. We want you to have some downtime. I think there's been some pushback from the fire unions that says, when we get our Kelly Day, when we get that day off, we want to have the option to come back and work that Kelly Day, which would then be paid at overtime rates.
Okay.
So that would be, again, another financial delta. So what the fire department wants is a 3-week Kelly Day. They want an extra day off for every 3 weeks that they work, not every 6 weeks that they work. So there's the impasse.
So the county's offered, every 6 weeks. The union says we want to have the option to work at day every 6 weeks, but they actually want every 3 weeks for that Kelly Day.
And they still want to work that day off.
Okay. They want to. Well, what happens if they need that day off, but someone calls in sick and now because they have mandatory overtime, is the way I understand it.
Correct. So this is.
I mean, that's not a normal workplace, like, if you're at the grocery store, you don't have mandatory overtime. This one you have mandatory overtime. So how does that play into it? If I'm on that side and I'm absolutely exhausted, dog tired, and I need my Kelly day, now it just got taken from me.
Yeah, this is another disappointing thing. I kind of wanted to go over some of the things that we've done to address the mandatory overtime that they're getting, because this is at the heart of the issue.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too far in the weeds because it's just so hard to process all the information. But we have a couple of budgets ago, we hired 18 new firefighters that would be floaters to help alleviate some of the need for mandatory overtime. We have 4 people on a truck right now. That's below the national standard. The national standard, the gold standard, is 5 people on a truck. Yeah. We just haven't been able to afford to do that.
Because there was a law that came into place when I was at Parks and Rec that kind of blew the budget out because we had a 2 in and 2 out rule.
Okay.
So, and that came into place, I think, in like 2008 or 9, where if you have, and you guys in the audience can help me with the 2 in and 2 out rule. If you have somebody go to the call, you have 2 people that can go inside a building, 2 people have to stay outside. So you always have that protection.
Interesting.
And that rule came into place, I think, like 20 years ago. Time flies. And I know that was almost a budget breaker for the county because it had to be around 2007, 2008, around that time, because it was when we were really getting our ass kicked with the recession. So, so we faced tough budget times before, and this negotiation, to me, it sounds like it's hung up on that just a couple items, and it's not that far away. It doesn't seem like they're asking for an exorbitant raise or anything like that, or anything unreasonable. But what they're asking,
I wouldn't agree with that.
Not necessarily. You wouldn't agree with that.
I would not agree with that.
Explain.
I mean, we're talking about a lot of extra time off and a decrease in service for the residents. So per the current proposal from the union, this is the rub. They don't want to. This is why we're at impasse. There would be 3 people on a truck now, and in those days where somebody calls out or can't make it, some trucks might have 2 people on it. So not only would we be paying more, we'd have a lower level of service. I'm not sure that information is getting out as much as it should. When you listen to David Stevens, he's going to say only 18 employees and we're saving the county $1 million. None of that's true for the staff. We would need 70 new employees, 70 new employees, and it would be millions of extra dollars. And the level of service would go down.
Look, and just so I've been on both sides.
Yeah.
So I've been on that budget side where you had to take that and it always costs more than who's presenting. It always costs more. Right. But at that cost, and to me, I've had friends that we've lost because of mental health issues that were in fire, and most of the time it happens actually after they retire. But that this drain that they hit, and a lot of people are like, well, they get 48 hours off. Yeah, but their whole sleep pattern is totally screwed up. It's not an easy thing, an easy task. So you guys are really,
it's not easy.
You guys are really, hopefully no one out there is against our firefighters that
nobody should be against fire.
That's out there trying to save our lives.
This is, yeah.
But it to me, if I'm hearing the Kelly Day thing, all right, you guys are talking 1 every 6 weeks. They want 1 every 3 weeks. That seems to be the big catch. I'd love to follow up with what that raw number looks like on the budget.
Sure.
And I want to make sure people understand our firefighters are still working. They're not going on. We're not in any of those situations. they're there for us, and they're still working, and we're getting through this.
And they're doing a great job.
So
our firefighters are fantastic. They're professional, and they do a great job responding to the many, many calls that come in. So there is no issue with who they are or what they're doing and the level of service that they're giving us right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to make sure we're clear on that, but I'd love to see what those numbers actually look like from the 6-week Kelly Day to the 3-week Kelly Day, financially for the county, and what that number is additional employee, because that's going to require additional employees. Because I don't know exactly what the number is. I'm assuming it's around 500 firefighters. You know, close to the number where it's at.
I have it written down in my office, which is not going to help me on this interview. Yeah. I should have brought in some of that data with me. I've taken some notes as we've been going through these conversations and negotiations, but there are obviously hundreds of fire employees and emergency employees. But we would need, people also have forgotten, we're adding 4 new fire stations. So we have to staff those fire stations. This is not an issue where we have the firefighters against the county commissioner, against the county administration. There is disagreement within the fire department. I have firefighters coming to me all the time saying, we don't need this. This is too much. These requests are unreasonable. The fire chief, who was selected by the fire union, his recommendation is, don't do this. We can't staff this. It's not just a matter of, can we find warm bodies to put on the truck, Troy? It's a matter of, what experience do they have? Do they qualify to be a lieutenant? Do they qualify to be a captain? Do they have enough years of service to be a battalion chief? You don't want inexperienced battalion chiefs running these stations in life and death situations.
And you know, from the outside looking in of where it is, because this is our money. This is everybody who's listening's money.
That's exactly right.
From the outside looking in, is there a way to trickle into this scenario somewhere in the middle? Is there a way, and before we even had this impasse, 2 months ago, I scheduled, we have the new hires coming in Monday from the St. Johns County Fire Department.
That's
so
awesome.
Before all of this was taking place, so Monday I'm going to be interviewing some new hires and talk about the process of what it takes to do that. They were completely unrelated,
Sure.
you know, because we felt like we'd be past this portion of it, and where we're stuck. So when people see, oh, he's interviewing the young guys, that was already scheduled 2 months ago. But is there a way, in your scenario, is there a scenario on the table of how to get from where they're at and you're at, and those two come together before we get to ultimately where they're happy and we can afford it?
Yeah, so over time, you can build up to the kinds of things that they want to work towards. And that's always been discussed. We would just need time. So, for instance, we've heard word from the firefighters in Duval County that for them to get to the 24 on, 72 off, which I would love to do, it's going to take them 9 years to build up to that. That's Duval County, with their funds, with their taxes, with all the things that they have financially going for them that we don't have here. One estimate said that it would take them 9 years to get up to a 2472. So do I want to do, Troy, I want to do anything possible to make our firefighters' jobs easier. But I think it's important that we know the things that we have done. I would like to go over a list, if it's okay with you, of the things that we've done over the past several years to make their lives easier, including constructing new and staffing 4 new fire stations. That's going to take pressure off of some of those trucks.
And that helps the citizens on the insurance rates, which is a huge thing also.
Right.
So you have a list.
I have a list.
All right, I want to. I have a question about the Kelly Day, and I'm gonna try and explain it the way I understand it, and then you clean it up for me.
Got it.
So they just the way. All right. So evidently, a Kelly Day is an extra day to kind of recharge yourself. So every 6 weeks, in addition to the regular schedule, they're going to get an extra day off, is what the county has on the table. The fire union wants to do that Kelly Day every 3 weeks, to get that extra 24 off every 3 weeks. And what you're telling me is they're asking if they don't physically need it, they can work at an overtime rate.
That's exactly right, which
Okay,
is a
so
cost.
did I get that explanation? Blake, did that make sense to you, sir?
Yes, it did.
Okay, I just wanted to kind of make sure everybody out there is on the same page as us before we go into that list.
Absolutely.
So go.
That's all on track. In addition to the 4 new fire stations, we're constructing the first regional fire rescue training facility. We received $7.5 million, and we advocated for this pretty strong in Tallahassee. We're still looking for the final funding to finish that project, but that is going to be a regional fire training facility, which the fire union, the firefighters have advocated for many, many years. So that's for them. We've done renovations to existing fire stations to improve their living and working conditions, again, at their request for their benefit. We've approved the 18 firefighters to take pressure off of the mandatory overtime for their mental health. That was a mental health item that the taxpayers of St. Johns County are funding. We purchased a second set of personalized protective firefighting gear for each firefighter. What they said is they come to us saying that there's more chemicals in these fires. If you go into a structure fire today, there's synthetic smokes and chemicals in the air that there weren't back in the 90s and 80s.
I think when Chief Abeles was in here, it takes so much more time and water for these lithium batteries that are creating issues in a lot of ways. So, okay, that one we've discussed on the show before about like that being a bigger issue for them.
But those chemicals from those fires, from all that smoke, it gets on the gear, and these guys are they are seeing issues with their health from long-term exposure to these chemicals. So they said, we need a second set of gear. If we go into a structure fire like this and we can't decontaminate the gear, we need a second set of gear that we can throw on to continue our shift, right, until we can get the decon. So we purchased that. We didn't purchase it. The taxpayers of St. Johns County purchased it. This is the thing that you may remember from a few years ago. Everybody knows Sarah Arnold. She's the District 2 County Commissioner. Well, her background in nonprofits came in extremely handy. We had 2 firefighter suicides within about a year's time.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking to each and every one of us, and we took it seriously. But Sarah Arnold had the professional background to go say, look, I know how to put together a mental health program. So she took the lead on standing up this mental health program that is now being used by a lot of firefighters within the system. They presented Commissioner Arnold with this axe, this huge built placard with an axe attached to it. It's the shiny axe. And during that presentation, David Stevens of the fire union said, we only give this to people who are saving firefighters' lives. I've worked with 9 other county commissioners during my tenure. She's the only county commissioner who's been presented with an axe. It's just disheartening when we've done all these things to even hear the suggestion that we don't care about their physical safety or their mental health. We've taken a lot of steps to spend money just for the benefit of their mental health, their spiritual health. We've hired chaplains. We've hired a full-time health and safety coordinator. We're improving fire stations. We're doing things every year to make their lives better. We've increased their pay. We've done a lot of things that we feel like are for their benefit so they can be more comfortable. And to hear that we don't care, it not only is it hurtful, but it feels like a slap in the face. It's not true.
Well, and hopefully you guys don't take that personal, because they have to fight for their families at the highest possible level. And I get both sides, you know, and I'm playing Switzerland here, and I'm sounding super neutral, but on their side and the union side, they're not just fighting for themselves and their own well-being. They're fighting for their family's well-being, because if they're mentally not where they need to be, that trickles down into the family, and that trickles down to their kids. And there's nothing in the world I wouldn't do for my kids, and I know you wouldn't. There's nothing in the world you wouldn't do for your girls. So I understand where they're at,
Sure.
and I don't see it as a personal attack on the county of where they're doing. They're just putting in their fight the best they possibly can. Hopefully this comes to a reasonable solution where they can see both sides. And I don't know if you watch My 2 Cents a whole lot, but there is a 2 cents out there. It's called Listen to Learn, that I did about 3 months ago, and it really falls into place on stuff like this. If you listen to learn instead of listening to respond, I think we can get there tomorrow, and I think we can get there to where we need to be, and that goes both sides. I'm going to say the exact same thing to David this afternoon, because we all love our county. It's not like we don't have a love for this county. Right. We have to pay some bills, and I'm going to be right back with you. Blake.
Yes.
Gas Buddy gas report. Sir, can you please tell us what the gas prices are looking like, and I'll do the music report.
All right. So right now in St. Augustine, we start off with the Owens at 78 South Ponce at 256, the Circle K on 207 at 267. The Shell at 146 King is 279. The Shell at 2350 North Ponce is 279. The Shell at 216 Ponce de Leon Boulevard is 279. Sunoco at 450 South Ponce is 279. The Sunoco at 2199 North Ponce is 279. The Circle K on US 1 North is 285. So the gate on Mizell Road is 295. And the gate rounding out our list on US 1 North is 299. Oh, I'm so sorry. I keep hitting the wrong camera. But that gas report is brought to you by Chris Lucero Bail Bonds. When the unexpected happens, turn the name to St. Augustine Trust. Chris Lucero Bail Bonds, available 24/7. Their experienced and compassionate team moves fast to help you or your loved one get out of jail and back home. They handle everything from paperwork to release with professionalism, discreet, and zero judgment. When every minute counts, remember the name and the number. Chris Lucero Bail Bonds at 904-822-BAIL. That's 904-822-2245.
All right, and I got the live music report. I'm going to start at 4 o'clock, and this is brought to us by visitstaugustine.com. We have Riggy at Ben 39 at 4 o'clock, John Q at Milltop Tavern at 4:30, Vinny Jacobs at Hurricane Grill and Wings at 5, Trevor Compton at St. Augustine Shores Golf Club, Ivan Smith at Casa de Vino, Zaza Flaminca at the Bart on Avaliz, the Nighthawks at Cafe 11, Atlanta Rhythm Section at Ponte Vedra Concert Hall. If you have not seen a concert there since the new renovation, you need to get your butt up there. Contact Buzz at Tradewinds, and Cholula rounding out the night at 10 o'clock at No Name. And that is brought to us by, that music report's brought to us by Fidus Roofing. When it comes to protecting your home or property, trust Fidus Roofing and Construction, voted best of St. Augustine every year since 2012. Specializing in residential and multifamily roofing, Fidus delivers expert shingle roofs solutions, metal roof installations, and quality paver work built to handle Florida's toughest weather. As a GAF Master Elite contractor, their work is backed by the top-tier materials and trusted warranties. From emergency repairs to full roof replacements, Fidus gets it done. Call 904-355-ROOF. That's 904-355-7663. Fidus Roofing, where trust is built from the top down. We're not doing the trends because we're getting back to the commissioner, but I got to tell you about the good Troy, and that is St. Augustine Handy House. Looking for a portable building that's built to last. St. Augustine Handy House, proudly owned by Troy Yacina Enterprise, has been serving the community since 1988. Featuring Handy House, America's #1 manufacturer in portable buildings. They offer everything from utility sheds and workshops to lofted barns, offices, and fully custom buildings. All designed for strength and long-term value, with over 70 structures in stock. Plus free delivery, leveling, and anchoring, and easy financing. St. Augustine Handy House makes adding space simple. Visit them today off of State Road 16, 904-823-9092. St. Augustine Handy House, where quality meets convenience and community matters. That's the good Troy out there. I'm the old Troy, the bearded Troy, the Troy with the hat. I'm not sure which Troy I actually am. All right, we're back to Commissioner Whitehurst. We're talking about the fire county impasse that we have on their contract. Again, I want to reiterate, our fire department's going to be there. If you call, you have a problem, they're still going to be there. They're not going anywhere. This is a negotiation that has to get through at some point, and kind of stuck on some items that I don't think are so insurmountable that we can figure out. So what is a message like that you would like to get to the union from the county commission side? And you have to talk individually because you haven't talked to the county commissioners about it. This is you as an individual. If you could get a message to them as they're going through these negotiations, to kind of let them know where you're coming from with it.
Well, I think you made some great points before you went into the last commercial break. We can call it that. I agree with all of those. That their mental health, their physical health is extremely important. They have a very difficult job, and they do it very, very well. They do it at a high level. They're known around the state for being one of the most professional, best responding fire departments in the state of Florida. We are very proud of them. We love everything they do. I've lived in this county for a long, long time, as you know, nearly 3 decades. I'm raising my children here. There's guys I went to high school with who are in this fire department. I love them and I love what they do. Because their mental health and physical health is so important, that's why we've done the many, many things to take care of them. There should be no suggestion made that we wouldn't care or that we haven't taken steps, significant steps, to improve their working conditions. That shouldn't be uttered. Even if you're negotiating, to say that it's not true, and it's not a fair trick of the trade when you're negotiating. Fight for what you want, fight for what you think you need, but to make the suggestion that we're not looking out for you, that we haven't been looking out for you, when we literally have a commissioner with a trophy hanging on her wall that is only given to those who've saved lives, that's not a true or fair statement. Secondly, I want to help. The union should know that all I want to do, and I think all any commissioner wants to do, is to help them achieve their goals. So much so that we've heard from firefighters from around the state. We've talked to people who are fire chiefs, who are in leadership in fire departments around the state. One suggestion that has been seriously discussed and that we're considering is, because the 24-hour workday for a firefighter, when you're on edge, waiting for the bell to go off, waiting for that next call to come in, it does put such a strain on you because it messes up your sleep schedule. Something that has been suggested that we're having discussions about is a 12-hour shift. And so it takes away that 24 hours of being on edge, that strain mentally, physically, that it puts on a firefighter. If we could get to a place where we put the firefighters on 12-hour shifts, and that would take away a lot of that mental load. It would certainly, you're going to hear probably from David Stevens, I know I have, about the, there's a rate of there's some chemical that goes up in your body, cortisol. The cortisol levels go up when you're on edge, when you can't get a REM cycle in. You put firefighters on the same shifts that the sheriff's department has, the sheriff's deputies have, which are 12-hour shifts. That cortisol level has a better chance of going way, way down. You won't have those long-term lasting impacts from being on a 24-hour shift where you're constantly on call, constantly working. So that is a possible. Troy, what I'm saying is, I don't know if the 12-hour shift is the right answer. But what I'm saying is, I'm willing to consider anything and everything that is viable.
Yep.
That can make their.
That's almost affordable too.
That would be more affordable, wouldn't it?
Where it needs to be. My question with that, on the other side of that, these guys are engaged in a full blaze. It's not like they can stop at that 12-hour, or they can't walk out of the fire and go, oh, the shift's over.
Sure.
It's a different beast.
Well, I mean, you can say the same thing at the 24-hour mark too. I mean, if they're engaged in a call at the 24-hour, I mean, there's.
But it gets spaced out a little bit better at that point. So I don't know. And what I've seen, 85% of the country is at, maybe even higher than that. I'm going to say even 90% of the country is at the 24, 48, and has been for quite a while.
Sure.
But mental health is coming into the forefront, and people are understanding mental health better and addressing it in a better thing, a better situation. So working our way through the 24 to 72, I like it, but it still has to be affordable. You have to still, taxpayers when they see the raw numbers, might have sticker shock. They want that safety. They want this. But also, we can't lose firefighters because of mental health.
Amen.
So it's just
No, we can't.
such a tough balance that you guys have to do. I did the quick math on the Kelly days. At every 6 weeks, that's an additional 8.6 days off a year. Okay, at every 3 weeks, times it by 2, it's 17 days off. Those 17 days have to be filled. Those 17 days, we have 4 new stations coming in. How many new hires are we going to have just for the 4, not even including these Kelly days? You have an idea of what each station it takes to man a station?
Yeah, I think there's roughly 55 new hires
55
to
total.
fill the 4 new stations.
Okay.
If we go to the 3-week Kelly, I'm told there's an additional 70. So, I mean, we're talking about an additional 125 new full-time employees for the fire department.
That would be an additional 70 if we went to the 3-week.
if we go to the 3-week Kelly.
Okay. And we can man it with the 6-week. We would only have to hire how many? 18?
With the 6-week
Is that where
Kelly.
the 18 number comes in?
Well, even Chief McGee says, I think we'd have to hire 36 new employees for the 6-week Kelly. But even with that, we're going to have to work up to that.
Mm-hmm.
Chief McGee his job is not to negotiate. His job is to run the fire department and make sure that they have experienced firefighters responding to these calls.
Yeah, because he can't even be a part of the union as a chief, I believe. That's
correct?
That's
That's
I
correct.
think you have to kind of leave that one behind, and he can't even really be.
He's not in the
involved.
union at all. Actually, he's telling commissioners, be cautious of overextending us.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just need warm bodies on these trucks. You need people who have years of experience. You don't want a truck with a combined 5 years experience going to a call where somebody's life is on the line and seconds matter. And if you've gotten there and you don't know what you're doing, or you're still learning, my goodness, that's not in the best interest of St. Johns County residents.
And the best teacher is experience.
Absolutely.
You know,
with anything.
we all went to college, but the first year out of college, you learn more about life, than you did the 4 years in college. College basically says, school basically says, you're willing to put in the time and put in the commitment. Right. You learn on the field, and you learn on the. I'm sure the firefighters out there will agree. You learn on that truck.
That's right.
So
there are things
you
that you
learn
can only
in that
learn
station,
in the
and you learn from the guys with a little bit of salt and pepper in their beard, or in these cases the overly mustache.
That's right.
But we're about to wrap up here. Is there anything that we left off that you wanted to go over with the getting it out to the citizens, getting it out to those people that are involved in this negotiation that I have neglected to ask?
No, I would just ask. David Stevens is going to come on tonight,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just ask him: are we asking the taxpayers are they asking the county commission to put a tax on the ballot for the taxpayers to vote on to fund this? What is the financial path forward here to get what he wants us to do, and why isn't it unreasonable to work up to that? I want to do it. I want to help any way I can. If we can get to 2472, but the numbers have to work, and everything I've seen have told me that the numbers don't work with the current proposal. So help me help you, to steal a line from Jerry Maguire. I'm a friend to the firefighters. I was a friend before this started. I'm gonna be a friend after this is over. But we have to get to a reasonable conclusion here, and that's all I want to do. And if I can say, even though this is a very serious topic, it's hard not to have fun on the show. You guys have the best topics and the best sponsors, and you keep it fun. So thank you.
Well, and we try, like I said, we're trying to get the word out and get the information out, and not throw in too much of our own opinions. But thank you, Blake. How do you want to approach the comments, sir?
On this Tuesday, I will honestly thunder my way through the thoughtful thoughts and themes of today's tribe.
All right. While you're doing your thunderous tribe whatever thoughts you're doing. I'm going to tell you about B&S Signs. For over 50 years, family-owned B&S Signs has been a trusted name in signage across St. Augustine and the surrounding areas. With vinyl lettering and large pylon signs, B&S Signs does it all. Backed by fast installation, expert crane service, and reliable repair and maintenance to keep signs looking their very, very best. Named Business of the Year in 2025, B&S Signs is known for quality craftsmanship, top-level service, making a lasting impression with B&S Signs. Visit bnssigns.com because when it comes to signs, they do it all. All right, Blake, what you got?
All right, today was the 81st anniversary of Iwo Jima. But also today is Chocolate Mint Day and Prevent Plagiarism Day. For question of the day today, we had a lot of great options for a mid-meal, chips and cheese, a tomato cheese mayo sandwich for Scott,
Okay.
and baked potato and pizza bagels.
All right. All right. It is time now for the Stoidum Stat. Today's Stoidum Stat in 1777. Everybody knows about Benedict Arnold and how he's our probably most famous trader of all time. But today's the day it all started. Benedict Arnold got passed up for a promotion, and he was a very successful brigadier general, and he got passed up by like 5 junior generals because they wanted to make balance in the different states. And it made Benedict Arnold very bitter, and his wife was a loyalist, and 3 years later, he flipped, and he went and tried to sell West Point in 1880. But on this day is the day Benedict Arnold almost resigned. Washington talked him out of resigning, and he stayed on for another 3 years on the good guy's side, and then he tried to sell West Point to the British. So Benedict Arnold Day, don't flip on us, guys. All right, and that Stoidum Stat is brought to us by Sonny's Barbecue, craving real Southern barbecue. Sonny's Barbecue, located at 2720 State Road 16 in St. Augustine, serves up slow-cooked favorites made to satisfy. Start with crowd pleasers like barbecue, pork egg rolls, so good, smoke wings, and crispy corn nuggets. Then dig into the tender baby back ribs or try one of the Pitmaster's picks with all the classic sides, including that famous garlic bread. And no visit is complete without Sonny's signature sweet tea. Sonny's Barbecue, local Pitmaster since 1968. All right, plugs, Blake, what you got today?
Yeah, if you'd like to help support the Now for Now, you can always contact me at BlakeNowForNow@gmail.com. And after Bollocks tonight, we have Lantile Talk coming in.
All right. If you guys would, us hear the second half of that story, you guys stick with us tonight at 5 o'clock on Bollocks this evening. We're going to have the union represent David Stevenson coming in, talking about their side of the story and where they think they need to be. So hopefully we get the full story and they get back to negotiations tomorrow, and we bring this to a comfortable compromise that works for everyone. So we appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you at 5 o'clock.